Kia ora, and welcome to the session on setting up an event in OGM. I'm in the Brownies test unit, so things may look a little different to your normal OGM unit. Now, before we get started setting up a unit event, ask yourself if your event is for 2 or more units. If so, you will need to set up your event at a team, regional, or area level in OGM. Refer to the OGM pre-planning an event video for how to do this. If your event is just for your own unit, we now go to Program and Your Event, and we click Create Event. Alright, so this is where we get to name our event and set the location. Select Outdoor Adventure Day in Christchurch, and we'll click Next. From our event pre-planning, we know the event should be at least 6 weeks away, so let's set this event date to the 5th of December. And our Outdoor Adventure Day is going to start at 10 AM and finish later that day at 3 in the afternoon. Alright, so this is a really useful screen if you have transport or event limits. If you can only fit 12 people in a car, you can set that to 12 and say it has to include leaders. If you can fit 11 girls in the car, you can put that to 11. And what that means is that as soon as you get, in this case, the 12th girl register, she'll automatically go on a reserve list, and then you can manage them from there. But for our Outdoor Adventure Day, we have an unlimited number of girls who can come, so we'll put 0 in there. The confirmation deadline is the last day that parents can register and pay. This is really important because only girls who pay by this date are able to come on the event, and this confirmation date should be 2 weeks before the event to give you enough time to get the event funds through on your P card and go purchase what you need. So our event's on the 5th of December, we need 2 weeks before that. Let's go for the 20th of November. Alright, so the cost. This is what the girls are going to be invoiced. It's the cost per girl that you would have worked out in your OGM pre-planning, taking into account all your costs like the event fee, emergency fee, and leader costs. So put that to 40. Now, it's tempting to click this to be confirmed later button, but we aren't able to use that at all. If there's a cost, it has to go in as a dollar figure right from the start. All the events must have a cost assigned unless it's a no cost at all event. And we can choose here if we'd like the invitation reminders to go out. And if we disable the bookings for Show and Parent Portal, it means no one will be able to sign up yet. So it's good if you want to let parents know an event's coming up while you finalise the details. But we're going to give our parents as much time as possible to sign up, so we'll leave that as enabled. And attendance reminders. Best practice is to set this for 3 weeks before the event, so parents get a reminder to pay before the confirmation date. And finish. Right, it's automatically sent to the Members tab. This is where we can add extra columns to ask parents for more information. For example, can they transport any girls? Do you have room girls in your vehicle? Alright, so this is not the place to ask for dietary and medical information. That should be updated and current on each girl's OGM record. All of the information we've already put into OGM will show up as part of the basic details and configuration parts of the event. Alright, so let's check the parent portal description. But this is our chance to advertise our event and make it sound exciting. While we give the parents enough information, they're happy to sign off on the consent, terms and conditions. So let's explain what the girls are going to do at the event, remind the parents how to contact us as the event organiser, and include any other details that parents need to know. If we click on the Event Plan tab, we get a blank notepad. So this is where we can add information for other leaders or event approvers. It's a good place to note who's doing what and what's happening throughout the day. And we can note other relevant leader qualifications in here as well. So for example, if we're going swimming as one of the activities and we know one of the other leaders coming has their bronze medallion, we could note who has the bronze medallion. Now let's look at our budget. So we click Add Record to add an entry line in the main grid. So let's say on the 20th of November, our confirmation date, we get through $400. Whoops, I don't think you can have the $sign there, it just has to be the numbers. $400, and this is because we're expecting 10 girls to come and they're all going to pay $40 each. So this is income and this is just default income. Alright, let's say we've also got let's go $100 property expense. Say external property. And we've got a $160 food expense. And this is our equipment. Alright, and now we need to add in the admin fee, emergency provision and cancellation insurance. So what the numbers are we have to put in as the amounts depends on our event budget. So let's check the core event document to see how much this should be. Alright, so we go into section admin, national resources, online guide manager resources, and OGM how to. And you can see the core event how via version 20 document is on here. Alright, let's scroll through. I'm pretty sure it's page 15. Let's have a quick look. Here we are. Event fees, emergency funds and cancellation insurance. So our event is budgeted at $400. So we've got the under 500 line for our unit. So we have a $20 event fee, a $20 emergency fee, and no cancellation insurance required. So let's go back into our outdoor adventure fun day. We need a $20 admin fee. Oops, not 230, just 20. And we'll just leave that as default. And we need a $20 emergency provision. And now if we go into category breakdown, you can see that this has balanced out perfectly for a net of 0, which is what you're aiming for. Alright, so once you've checked your budget, it's time to set up a payment box. This is a really important step. If your event has a cost, which it will unless it's a pay at the door event, the girls will need to be invoiced to attend. So the information that you put in this section is what goes on the invoice and it needs to match up with what you've already entered. Alright, we start with the payment name. We'll keep it easy for parents to match up and use our event name for this. This is part of our program. The due date is the same as the confirmation date. And the payment amount has to match what we've already written, which is $40. So we can't edit the payment amount once it's saved, so we need to make sure it's the correct cost per girl. And this will always be the same as our cost per girl that we've already entered, unless we need to ask for a deposit and the balance of the cost separately. It's best to untick Add to Existing Attendees because we've got leaders attending who don't need to be invoiced. And then we click Save. So we come out of here, you can see that there's a payments column set up, and everyone is set up for automatic invoicing. If you hover, you can see the dollar amount. To stop someone from being invoiced, for example, our grayed out leader here, we just click on automatic for our Giggle Frost Star Moon leader, and you can set that to manual. This means that our leader won't be invoiced for this event. Now let's go to activities and badges. Just like in a normal unit meeting, we can add activities and badge requirements to our event. Public attachments. This is for things like girl kit lists. Uploading a document like this now means parents will get the list attached as part of the event invitation when we send it out. Now let's look at the site safety plan. So most of the time events are held away from our local area, and it's important to plan ahead in case of emergency, especially since our events are often outside of usual service hours for doctors and pharmacies. Scroll down and you can see you can add site maps and external provider forms here. This is also where you add non-member Chorus C forms and any other relevant safety documents. So fill out the sections here that are relevant for your event. Several of them are specific to activities like tramping. Refer to the Safety Requirements of Program Activities document to confirm which sections are relevant for your event. You can find the latest version of the SRPA under Section Admin, National Resources, Online Guide Manager Resources, Safety Management, Safety Requirements Program Activities, and the documents in here. Back to our event, and we don't use the Equipment tab, but let's now look at the Safety Action Plan. Creating an SAP helps you think through activity risks and how you'd mitigate them should they arise, or take steps to make sure the risk is as low as possible. You can start building your SAP from scratch. Click Add Entry, choose the type of activity, and remember to add anything applicable for your event to the control section, and write in how you're going to control the potential issues in the check section. And reclassify the risk at the bottom once you've done your checks. You can also import your unit SAP or an SAP from another event. And now we can go into each hazard and make it relevant for this event. To delete a hazard that isn't relevant, we use the bin at the right-hand side. To edit a pre-entered hazard, we click the pen for editing rights. We can now add in any additional controls, and remember to fill in the checks and reclassify the risk at the bottom. Your SAP is a living document, and you'll need to come back to it once you know which girls are coming after the confirmation date to note down any allergies and medical issues you and your leaders need to know about. Make sure all attending leaders read your SAP so they know what to do or what not to do. It's downloadable if you click here. Authorization. This is where you add someone with the correct qualifications needed to run the event, for example, camping qualifications or first aid. If you have all the qualifications needed to run the event and the budget is within parameters, then it doesn't need to be checked by an approver, and the event will be automatically approved and you can go ahead and invite the participants. If the event needs to be reviewed, it will be automatically sent through to the event approvers. Event approvers have a week to look at your event, but it may take longer than this to get approved if they have to come back to you to ask for more information. So we tick here the box or boxes that describe the event. Note that for an assessment camp, if your assessor is only coming for part of the camp, you'll need a qualified leader with you for the entire camp. But for us, ours is an outdoor activity within the SRPA. Alright, so you select that and you can see that roles now appears. This is where you nominate the leaders with the appropriate qualifications for your event, including first aider. These leaders must attend the event and be responsible for the nominated job. So make sure to ask your first aider if they are willing and able to attend before you nominate them for the role. Now, because we're in test unit, these drop-downs aren't working quite right. But other leaders is the drop-down list of leaders outside of your unit, and they need to opt in to be available on this drop-down list. But usually you'd use my leaders. So now we've got our event described for parents, set up for payments, and with all the health and safety ticked off, and we're ready to submit for event approval. It's worth going back over to check everything again before you send the event away for approval. Once you're happy the event is ready to go, click Submit for approval. Some events are immediately approved if leader requirements are met and an event is within budget parameters. If an event is not approved immediately, it will show what is in review. Once an assessor has looked at it, they will either approve and both you and the first aider will get an email confirming the event approval, or the assessor will reject it and comment about why so that you can fix and resubmit your event. Once your event budget has been approved, the finance team will email you a job code. This code goes on all correspondence and receipts. And that's the basics of setting up an event in OGM. Good luck with your events.